Hello everyone! We are back here to review Godzilla King of the Monsters. We saw the film last week, and how did you feel about it?
I thought it wasn't like it was good. It wasn't bad. It was just felt like there just wasn't enough of the monsters.
Yeah, I was hyped for the movie, and I really enjoyed it, but I will admit it still suffered from the same problems I had from the last movie, which was not enough monster action. Or not enough monster action focus. And that is something a lot of other previous Godzilla movies have done fairly better at. But this film, it's good. It has a lot of great moments, but the monsters unfortunately don't get the focus that they really deserve. So we're going to talk about that for a bit, and then we're going to talk about what we'd like to see in future Godzilla movies, while we play one of our old favorite games, Destroy All Monsters Melee Godzilla, on the GameCube. A game we used to play a lot as kids. We still play now.
Yeah, a pretty good game.
It is a very good game.
Come with
You have Destroyer. Don't get onto me about stupid combos. Alright, so we are starting off with a classic. So like in the movie, the very first fight is Godzilla versus Ghidorah, and Ghidorah was very scary. Was actually really,
they did good.
yeah, they did really good with Ghidorah. And
I thought that like the multi-head personalities with the multiple brains was done really well.
yeah, usually Ghidorah doesn't normally have multiple personalities with their heads. They're usually all one mind. But this time, there's actually some personality with Ghidorah, and that was actually kind of funny. Where the heads will fight at each other and something like that.
I also thought the healing factor of Ghidorah.
Oh yeah, that was actually the biggest surprise. They actually kept Ghidorah's origin as an alien in this movie. Originally, I thought this whole MonsterVerse was going to take a little more focus on reality.
Yeah,
But the fact that we went with the source of aliens, I'm glad they kept that, because
Ghidorah is such an
not only-
iconic monster. You really have to make sure you don't do bad with him.
yeah, well, not only do I like that they kept the origin, that they kept the origin, but it also opens the door for future Godzilla movies that could have alien monsters. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy with what they did with Ghidorah. I think Ghidorah did the best. I think Ghidorah got the most treatment, good screen time and such.
That's good because
Yeah.
I mean he's the
main antagonist. Yeah.
We're gonna get Godzilla a lot more anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think they did a really good job with Ghidorah. The second fight with Ghidorah was Rodan's, and Rodan probably has one of my favorite monster sequences in the whole movie.
yeah,
With that, there's the moment where they have to the Rodan. They're using the plane to lure Rodan towards Ghidorah,
yeah.
and how that whole sequence with the fighter jets and Rodan,
That was
it's
awesome.
classic, the old Rodan movie. Another one of my favorite monster movies is the jets can't do anything against Rodan. So, and also Rodan does a lot of cool tricks. He doesn't just fly and hit them or
Yeah, bite them.
bite them. He actually does moves.
He does monster moves, not just classic
Yeah.
animal fight moves or bird moves. He does monster moves.
Yeah, he does tricks and twists and turns. Music though is really great in this movie.
I was just sad that he didn't do much against Ghidorah. We
Yeah.
didn't get a real fight with him against Ghidorah.
That again, biggest disappointment. The focus of the movie kind of keeps distracting from the monster fights, that we don't get to actually see Rodan and Godzilla, or Rodan Godzilla and Mothra later on get to fight. Like, we don't get to see their glorious fights like we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, as soon as Rodan and Ghidorah made contact, we cut away, and the next thing we know is Rodan's in the water. And then, like, I expected Rodan to come out of the water, but then Godzilla shows up and takes on Ghidorah.
Yeah. I will say that when it comes to like human interactions with the monsters, that I really did like the way they did the thing with Rodan.
Mm-hmm. Like, Rodan, I think, was perfect because, you know, the humans are involved, the tension's there, all the characters are in danger.
I will say that, like, as soon as they got Ghidorah and Rodan together and they had that whole thing with the humans there and they were trying to get, those people to safety, as kind of fun as that was, it felt unnecessary. Like,
I liked it. The only problem I did have is I felt this is it felt like they lured Rodan over the city. They could have like lured Rodan around or maybe in a different direction, but it felt like they just turned around right back over the city. I mean, of course they probably didn't expect Rodan to have like supersonic wind powers that we all know him for. But still, it just was like.
It did feel like they
made a mistake there.
I do understand that Rodan is fast, and the way Ghidorah was moving felt like they were trying to get there as soon as possible, and didn't want to maybe lure him over some other city or him not take the bait.
Yeah.
And since he was already focused on the city, I guess they were just trying to get him that direction, get him on out of there.
They also, another thing, I'm glad they kept all the monster powers too. Like, Rodan had his wind, Ghidorah had his they're called gravity beams, but his electricity power, his electric beams.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Mothra had her magic and kind of spiritual powers, but also, you know, had some new moves. Had actually like stingers and claw and pincers.
Yeah.
That was new.
I think they did well with the monsters. I just wish there was more of the monsters.
Yeah.
Is the only thing.
So, yeah, probably my favorite. My favorite monster sequence has to be Rodan's fight or Rodan's chase, basically, because that just felt so classic.
The scene they did with Rodan's lead up was good. Just the fact that he only went up against Ghidorah for a second wasn't a great payoff for that whole sequence.
It's the same thing that happened with Godzilla and the Mutos. They had build up and very little payoff.
I thought the humans in the story have been not great. Like the humans are fine.
The humans are fine. It's just there's too much focus because there's so many of them. So in a way, it's like you're writing extra characters.
I feel like they're too worried about their audience not being interested in the main reason we're there.
Yeah, that's
they don't put enough trust in us to enjoy the movie with most of the monsters on screen.
Look at Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim, of course, does have like, you know, the monsters, the humans involved with the monsters.
Yeah.
Because they're actually in the suits.
And the suits.
They're in the mechs. They're in the Jaegers. But
their interactions never detract from what's going on.
Yeah.
However, in this one, it does feel like there's too many times where the human story isn't involved enough with the monsters for the cutaway to feel good. And at times, it's just like, okay, the human story can just end.
Okay, I don't mind the human characters, honestly. Like, they got good characters. It's just that they're honestly, compared to some Godzilla movies, you're not expecting Shakespeare. Come on, it's Godzilla. And we have a great cast in this movie. Like a really amazing cast of actors. A cast of actors. Millie Bobby Brown.
They've got some good characters too, but
I think she did really good in that movie.
Yeah.
The Orca was an interesting feature, and I don't know, like it's classic Godzilla. It's like I think in older Godzilla movies they had something similar to that, or they've had psychics. We've had psychics in older Godzilla movies. Controlling the monsters isn't something brand new.
I mean, this game itself has like mind control monsters from Aliens.
Well, yeah, that's another like. So, yeah, the human story is not. It's not a bad story. It's just it needs to know its place.
I mean, we're going to a movie called Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
Not let's save my daughter and
Yeah,
you know.
from our crazy mom.
Yeah.
My favorite part in the movie is when Serizawa resurrects Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
That was my favorite part in the whole movie, simply because one, it's a very beautiful sequence, because you have a character who we actually know from a previous movie, and is a character that likes and cares about Godzilla.
Okay. I love that scene, but they seriously just destroyed a giant civilization thing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but it's not. It was irradiated. It's not like anybody was going to be able to even go in there anyway.
I mean, they went in there with drones. Just make better.
The drones got irradiated and didn't work for very long.
I know, but
So-
still.
The scene was great and is amazing, and it's really sad to see that character go.
Yeah.
Even though it probably like.
Probably
It's
one of the best ways for him to
yeah.
go out in this movie. They did great with the setup for that, and then the whole the explosion was
Yeah.
beautiful.
The funny the thing is you expect a boom, but there's just silence and music kind of. But that's what really surprised me. That's what made me love it so much.
Some of the human things I didn't like was the dad just didn't have much anger towards Godzilla. Like
Well,
he seemed
the
like
dad-
someone who really lost himself because of what happened with Godzilla.
The
And then he
dad-
sees Godzilla and he's like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm super calm. I have
Well, he's
no
he's
real
like
reaction
those animal.
to see the thing
It's
that
kinda like,
killed my son."
It's kind of like he's basically the Dr. Grant of this movie. Like he's the guy that knows the animals, studies the animals, and it's got frozen there.
The humans are helping me out now.
But yeah,
But yeah.
but he like it did kind of throw me off a little bit, like that he in the beginning, like I understood his anger towards Godzilla because
It made
he
perfect
he
sense.
lost his family to Godzilla, or at least during the Battle of San Francisco. That like it all made it was a perfect setup, but I did feel like he kind of got over that a little too quickly, and
Like, he got over it in a way that, one, they never talked about him finding a way to get over it if he got over it beforehand.
like he did have that line where like I look, I don't like him as much as you got, like I don't like him, but if you want to make sure we live, it's like he didn't.
Like, he got over it without us ever having a reason why he got over it.
Yeah, so that's
Or
again
that
like that's
he
the
actually
thing.
was not necessarily conflicted, but still
See,
upset that he had to do this.
That's what I'm saying is like people need to stop expecting Godzilla to go with great storytelling. I mean, not that we shouldn't.
Not that it's
have-
not possible.
Not that we can't have like older Godzilla movies have a great storytelling. Like even when it's cheesy, it's still good storytelling.
Yeah.
So, but this one I feel like didn't have enough cheese, or at least it didn't have the right amount of it.
Yeah, Godzilla's
But
always
there were
enjoyable.
like going back, like there were so many characters. I think we should have just kept it to the family and a couple of the generals and the scientists and Serizawa, and that was it. No, like none of the soldiers, none of the
yeah, we
none
got...
of, okay, we actually have villains. We have like villain characters in this movie. I didn't expect that. So we have like what are basically eco-terrorists, and they're releasing the monsters out onto the world
Because humans are
because
crazy.
humans apparently aren't doing great with this planet, and the monsters have done are better. So yeah, and they're led by Tywin Lannister,
Yeah.
who does a really good job in this movie. He does.
He feels like a good character. Like he
He's
doesn't
actually
have to be
one of
on
the-
screen very long
he's
for him
one
to
of-
feel like a good character.
Yeah, he's one of the best. Like his role was really well done. I feel.
I will say, like, I think some of the quieter moments with the humans were better than them trying to have their big flashy we're fighting monster or whatever. Like the moment with the him watching the old video.
Oh yeah,
that was such a good moment.
That was good. That was actually it was silly, but it worked. It got us. It got the point across.
And it didn't.
But it didn't overstay its welcome, sort of thing. Like we didn't get too many moments of that.
Like if that had happened right after, that happened right before Godzilla.
Yeah, that was when Godzilla first showed up.
If they had had a moment with him with Godzilla, and then him going back to that, like they put it after, I think that would have worked really well.
Yeah.
Because it could have been him reminiscing and trying to let that go.
Yeah.
Like after facing Godzilla again. He then faces his
because
son.
In a way, we don't know what, even though Godzilla's there, the Mutos were also there, so we don't know, Godzilla can't exactly help himself when he's...
Oh yeah, but I still...
But what's interesting is that Godzilla doesn't. He actually tries to avoid buildings. He tries to just make his way through, whereas other monsters, the Mutos, will just crash through. So Godzilla usually will avoid making contact with structures.
and some other places now, but mostly people.
So, yeah, a lot of things, again, the human story wasn't great, it took away, and there was a lot of moments in this movie that, Mothra and Rodan, I feel were very underused.
Yeah, they were
they had like I said, they had great moments. Mothra had that great moment with finding Godzilla and kind of pointing him out and clearing the storm.
Yeah.
And then she had that the moment where she was I feel like Mothra should have got a few hits in with Ghidorah before Rodan interrupted.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of I was like, oh great, Mothra's here. And then we're gonna get to see a trio fight, and then Rodan gets in the way.
And
I love Rodan. Personally, Rodan is my favorite of the monsters, but he needed he had his moment. I'm glad though he lived. I was scared that they killed him off already with Ghidorah.
And that would have been the worst way to kill off that friggin' Rodan.
Well,
he just disappears.
Rodan
into the water.
had so many fake deaths in this movie. Mothra, I thought, got him too.
I figured Mothra wasn't gonna kill him
it's
with that.
They made it look like
he died, yeah.
Yeah, they made it so yeah, Rodan had so many fake deaths, it got really annoying. Well, not annoying, but it was just stop playing with my emotions. So yeah, those are my complaints about the movie, and those are my feelings about the movie, but I still would rate this as one of the better Godzilla movies out of all of the Godzilla movies. There are some bad Godzilla movies, and this is not one of them.
Yeah.
Despite, I kind of hope we get an extended edition that has all the monster fights we didn't get to see. That they just couldn't do it in the theater, but they can do it on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Monsters, fight!
Now, in future movies,
we have Kong versus Godzilla next.
Yeah. And I wonder how we're possible hints towards Mecha Ghidorah. What I'm hoping, which is why I played him, is we're getting hopefully hints towards Destroya. Because I love Destroya.
Yeah, we had the Oxygen Destroyer, which I do kind of feel was kind of...
It was almost forgettable until the end
it was.
Of the movie came back.
That's one of the... That's kind of a sad, kind of I feel a little annoyed by, and I've heard other Godzilla fans have that same kind of opinion that that the Oxygen Destroyer was...
It was there.
It's a staple. Not only is it a staple, but it's it's the thing that can kill Godzilla. Godzilla's always been known to be almost unkillable. So, to make that thing one, not kill Godzilla or Ghidorah, but it also just kind of just shows up out of nowhere and then disappears.
Yeah.
and it's so kind of.
Lackluster.
It feels lackluster. Like unless they actually
Especially
are
because
planning.
they pulled the nuke really soon after. They pulled the nuke, and it's a bigger explosion type effect than that one.
Well, the oxygen destroyer is a prototype, and it's not a nuke. It's not an explosion. It's like a gas.
I know, but like they made it this.
They
Cool
did make it
effect
look
with
like a
everything,
nuke.
and then it was done like they did better with the actual nuke.
Well,
So it made the oxygen destroyer more forgettable
yeah.
because they had a bigger
So
effect.
I don't know. I don't know.
Or more
Like,
memorable effect.
I did like that it showed how powerful Ghidorah is, considering he's not. It showed his alien powers
Yeah.
with regenerative abilities that allow him to regrow an entire head, like that kind of. I never expected that,
Yeah,
and then it
that was pretty cool the way they did that.
yeah, like that was jaw dropping. But yeah, the oxygen destroyer I feel shouldn't have been kind of played that early and that just out of the blue.
Yeah, it was. They did it and it was cool, but it got done up by so many other things that it started to get pushed to the back in its viewing. And I'd love to see it be a little bit more focused in later films.
Yeah, but if the oxygen destroyer leads into something like Destroya, that would be actually kind of awesome.
The main reason I'm hoping it leads to Destroya is because even though it looks like it might be Mecha Ghidorah,
Yeah, and there's an
in that
after credits scene.
In that scene, they showed the dead fish, and they're talking about the oxygen destroyer.
Oh yeah, they're talking about the
so I'm
but
hoping.
I'm hoping I don't know because in this verse, in this monster verse, I don't feel like humanity should have this power to make mecha monsters. Like
Mhm.
if we can't make mecha Jaegers, I don't feel we should have the power to make mecha monsters and control them.
So, do you think we should have the early Jaeger, like the Defender flying ships, in it before?
The Super X's?
Yeah, something like that.
Those actually I feel like the one like that's kind of what the I almost felt like the fighter plane, the base,
Yeah.
the plane base could have been like its own like an early stage of Super X technology.
Yeah, I mean, if they instead of doing that whole cannon thing underwater,
Yeah.
showed that this base might have some sort of defense capabilities of its own that they're working on. Even if it was minor,
I mean,
it could have hinted.
The
and
Super
made it
X's
possible.
are at least the more realistic term in terms of humanity monster defense weapons.
Yeah, especially early on.
The mech ones are a bit pushing it. I mean, if we were like 100 years in the future and we had technology that focused on such things,
Yeah.
then it would feel much at home. But in terms of human-made mech machines, I feel like that's kind of doesn't feel right in this monsterverse.
Yeah. At least not yet. Like, there needs to be some reason we have these. As for, more monsters
So,
to do with these mechs.
future monsters you would like to see in
All
in
of them.
any Godzilla movie, if any Godzilla movies happen to continue after Kong, and maybe even like some extra monsters show up against Kong before Godzilla and Kong get their appetizers before their dinner.
And please have them actually have a nice, decent
Yeah.
fight before you throw in the third, obviously going to be their thing to make it where both will get to live.
Yeah, I don't know, like
You can't really kill off Kong and Godzilla.
you can't without making it a huge controversy. Well, that's not a controversy, but
It's
it's a
debate.
debate. You're
or
gonna have a huge. There's gonna be a huge
fandom war.
and unless it makes sense, which honestly, Godzilla. After seeing what Godzilla did in this movie, in King of the Monsters, how in the world? I don't see how Kong stands a chance. And
Yeah.
that's
Unless
even
he's gotten a lot bigger and
even
gained
if
something.
Kong is the same size as Godzilla, Godzilla still has a lot of, powers.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's...
Yeah, there's freezing spaceships. Yeah.
Aliens would be nice. If
So-
we're gonna go full, like, mechs and sci-fi, it would be nice to get
Yeah.
aliens. In
So now that Ghidorah has been confirmed an alien, we could actually have invasive alien races show up and try and take over the planet, just like in classic Godzilla movies. And honestly, that's a story that actually could involve humans and have their own plot.
Yeah.
Like,
They come over to take over and they
they
possibly...
they bring their own Titan fighting weapons. Like, they could make their own Mechagodzilla, or Gigan could be a alien. Since Gigan's a cyborg, they could bring him in and have him, be their first monster Titan weapon. Which, Gigan's, like, he is actually a very deadly monster and takes out a few of the Titans.
Orga.
Yeah, we have like Gigan be like the alien's first monster. He comes in, takes out other monsters, and then Godzilla of course takes Gigan out.
And this like,
But-
causes them to have to
Right.
reevaluate what weapon
They
use.
realize what monster, like, okay, like they see Godzilla as the superior monster, so they think, okay, we'll just make better Godzilla.
Mecha Godzilla.
And it's aliens, so it makes sense they would have technology that it's more believable science fiction technology that
And it
the
could kick
aliens would
off.
have their own mech of sorts.
And it could, like, if we have, say, the, what was this ship's called? Something X?
Super X's?
Super X's.
Yeah, we can have the
If
Super X's show up finally, have the alien have them be like alien countermeasures,
Or
but then
Titan.
turn into Titan countermeasures, or vice versa.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if the humans are working on these alien, these X's, I'm terrible at remembering its name. Don't know how. But if humans make those and then it's used to fight the humans make them fight aliens with them. I am doing terrible with words right now. Ah!
But yeah, that's another thing. Is like
I just
Gigan's
deserve to lie here and die.
Gigan's a cyborg. That's another kind of interesting feature that like we can see monsters having that. We can have Gigan, and then Mechagodzilla can show up.
That sparks Mecha Ghidorah.
Then when Mechagodzilla gets defeated, the pieces of Mechagodzilla get converted, and then the science, like Tywin's his team, they get they use the Ghidorah body, which again we're not sure where they're gonna go with that. Like they could
They could try
considering-
and use his regenerative ability to grow with the oxygen
That
destroyer
is-
that hit him.
like, okay, since that is that's the Ghidorah that's the head that got ripped off
Yeah,
in the oxygen destroyer battle,
yeah.
and that didn't have any power to regenerate, probably because of the oxygen destroyer, unless just the heads alone don't. They need the source.
Yeah, it's like a lizard's tail.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to say something you definitely wouldn't want to see in the Kong Godzilla movie.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't want to see them try and bring in Mecha Ghidorah that quickly.
Yeah, I don't want Mecha Ghidorah to show up, and I don't want Doomsday. I don't want the Batman versus Superman thing to happen in Kong versus Godzilla. Like, I wouldn't mind another monster, but in fact, new monsters. I kind of wouldn't mind a new monster to show up, a new kaiju of sorts that we make.
Yeah, but I definitely like if they try
Actually-
and pull too many things in too quickly. I feel it could be bad.
We could even have Orga show up. He could be he's not.
What if Orga shows up in its space form and just sits there? Like, it's basically drawing them together, like the Orca was doing. Instead, Orga sits there silently, Kong and Godzilla are having their fight, and then Orga, as it's collecting data from the Titans,
Well,
starts developing a signal.
Orga was an alien spaceship first, and then it became
Orga.
Yeah. So, we could have Orga, Orga could come back finally and be a very interesting, we could see what, because he's not a clone, but he's able to, he adapts, he absorbs whatever he's facing and can adapt to it. It takes a very long time to do such things.
But I think it'd be cool because in the movie with Orga,
Godzilla 2000.
Godzilla 2000,
Monsters.
he sits there for how much of the movie before
He doesn't sit there. The ship just basically tries to get energy source because it's a solar powered ship, and then it finally finds the technology finds the internet. It learns about what is the dominant species, what is it can absorb, and it learns that Godzilla, has not only is it Godzilla the biggest monster on the planet, but he has the power to regenerate his cells and heal and basically make him unkillable.
Yeah, something they want to learn,
something they want to absorb and get, and then of course which makes them makes them the dominant species. So, I don't think they're gonna bring in Orga because Orga is a very he's not a very commonly known monster.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a he's a one-off. He has a very unique backstory, and he's an alien. So we're gonna have to if we're gonna go aliens, we got to go full aliens. So we're gonna have to be very specific about this. It's one of those things where it's how much... It's if this was Marvel, how much of the source material do you want to keep?
Yeah.
And personally, I would want to keep almost 90% of it because that makes it unique. That's what makes it special. Because Ghidorah's an alien, but I think Ghidorah isn't run by anybody, isn't controlled by anybody. Ghidorah is its own entity.
Yeah.
Its own...
It's like Godzilla.
Yeah, its own monster, its own invader.
I feel like Orga could be fitting if he doesn't tip off the monsters. If he just sits there, and that gives us our human story that everyone's wanting, apparently, where they're trying to figure out what's up with Orga, and then our Godzilla story is Godzilla dealing with Kong, and then they merge at the end. So as opposed to doing it where humans are there throughout the movie and then we let them off at the end, we can merge them together at the end, and they maybe do something that helps fight Orga.
The only thing is that there's been rumors, but the rumors have been that in Godzilla vs. Kong there will be a winner. Unlike the original Godzilla vs. Kong, there wasn't actually a winner, or at least it was deemed a draw.
Which makes sense when you got two iconic monsters. It's so hard.
And,
and that's why we have things like Death Battle and whatnot, and those people who pit them against each other to see who would actually win.
Yeah.
Because the movies won't do it.
Well, the movies...
There you go. Yeah, the movies...
The movies... So, the one thing is, if Godzilla loses, not only is that going to be very, controversial...
Yeah, why didn't Ghidorah go after Kong then? Kong is clearly the dominant species at that point.
But it's Kong clearly isn't, trying to take over the planet or, rule the monster planet. He just wants to live his own life.
Yeah.
On his own island.
Y'all got your weird politics out there, I'm leaving.
So... Yeah, I do feel like there's got to be a reason Kong and Godzilla do actually fight. And... I don't know... So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna make it work. I just know
it's gonna be very difficult to do. If you don't have a winner,
you kind of Batman. Well, see, the thing is, in Batman vs Superman, technically, Batman did win
Yeah.
Technically, Batman did win. The thing is, though, Superman wasn't really fighting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing, is like Godzilla is Superman and Kong is Batman. Kong has like all this intelligence, all this kind of he thinks, he uses tools.
Monster.
Godzilla just has superpowers. So it's kind of hard to decide how you would make this work.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do kind of like, if we're gonna have like appetizer monsters, what appetizer monster would you like to see?
Like appetizer, you mean like early fight against Kong or
Like,
Godzilla?
what monster would you like to see Kong fight before Godzilla? If we get a other monster in, like
Megalon.
Megalon?
I feel like Megalon is the best explanation for the Hollow Earth thing.
Well, Megalon's origin is Atlantis, but I think Anguirus would be a good monster to, like, Anguirus 1 is a classic, and he's actually a much natural-looking creature.
Yeah, he's an armadillo.
He's an armadillo, turtle, ankylosaurus, dragon sorts, and
He's a dragon turtle.
yeah.
With spikes.
So Anguirus would be a cool monster to introduce, and bring in. I don't know if he's also again Anguirus is also another one of my favorites, so I don't know if I want him to be defeated by Kong.
Yeah.
But if then there's like
What about other monsters?
Baragon. Baragon
like
is also another.
Titanosaurus.
Huh?
Titanosaurus.
Titanosaurus, that would be cool to bring in, because one, Titanosaurus is actually kind of another natural monster.
And he's aquatic.
He's aquatic. Like, I feel like Titanosaurus could be saved for later. I just don't know, like, for what. Like, we do, like, Terror of Mechagodzilla again?
No one. I'm trying to remember.
That's the one. That's
I know
Titanosaurus.
Titanosaurus is in it. I'm trying to remember what happens though.
They got Mechagodzilla back.
Oh yeah.
That's like, but yeah, I think Anguirus would be great. Titanosaurus would be great.
Gravity-defying kick would be great from Godzilla.
Megalon would be interesting, but I feel like they should save Megalon for like another movie or another kind of situation.
What if Megalon like pops up and ends up in a fight with Kong, and then as he leaves, digs a tunnel that Godzilla ends up following to Skull Island?
I kind of feel like, well, let's see. No, see, here's the thing. If we're gonna do Megalon, I feel like we also have to do Jet Jaguar.
Oh.
Like, I don't know how you would make it work. You could make it work. You could make Jet Jaguar work. It just would be
ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous,
awesome.
but it would be funny. Like, again, alien technology. Bring in the aliens so we can have alien technology that the humans kind of turn into powers that they can use against the monsters.
Best way for you to get all the human space techie stuff, like the laser things in this, where they're freezing us and so on.
Yeah, like all this laser technology and stuff that could come from aliens that the humans turn and use. So yeah, like technology from aliens would be it just would help build up this universe. That's something that the Godzilla MonsterVerse needs to, because it does well with the monsters. But I feel like if you're gonna have the humans actually play a part and not seem like they're outmatched, like at least give them something that actually like makes them play a part.
And don't do like the humans know about monsters, so they start doing their tech really heavy. No, that's gonna take a long time, even if you put a lot of resources into it.
Like, I don't care how much resource you put. There's no way you can build a mech monster that's fully functioning, tested, works, weapons malfunctions, everything, all that. There's no way that's gonna be, like, if that was gonna be possible, we'd have it by now.
Now, what if in the Godzilla vs. Kong, they make a Mark 1 prototype, and that's what pops up?
Well, there's Mogura, which is a kind of mech monster that was,
done by humans, or?
It was done by humans, but it was made from the remains of Mechagodzilla 2. Which, honestly, is kind of like, it's a downgrade, because Mogura doesn't... the only thing Mogura does is it battles Space Godzilla and actually helps Godzilla finally defeat Space Godzilla. Which, speaking of Space Godzilla, that's another thing I would kind of like. If I was to do the movies like Marvel like teasing and the plan. The next movie after Kong would be like some sort of invasion with like an alien invasion that has Gigan and maybe Mechagodzilla as their weapons. They defeat, and then of course other monsters fight the Titans, fight Gigan and Mechagodzilla, and then Godzilla defeats them both. And but the aliens, like the aliens, aren't all defeated. Like their army is eradicated, and their Titan weapons are destroyed, but they aren't, they aren't all killed.
Yeah.
So some aliens escape and say, "We're gonna go back to our planet or whatever." And they act and like from the fight with Gigan, they get some Godzilla blood, and they decide to make their own Godzilla, like they grow their own Godzilla. That can become Space Godzilla, like an alien-made Space Godzilla.
What was Space Godzilla's original
Space
origin?
Godzilla's origin is either Biollante or Mothra flew into space, went into a black hole, and then came out and then mutated. So yeah, Space Godzilla's origin is honestly weird. So personally, that's why I would have the aliens basically grow their own version with mutations that are like the crystal powers, and have Space Godzilla be created that way. And of course, when they finally grow Space Godzilla to full size, Space Godzilla doesn't like being controlled and wreaks havoc.
He has too much Godzilla dominance in him.
So he basically destroys the aliens and then flies to Earth.
To fight his rival.
Yeah.
I'm you, but better.
Yeah. So that's how I would make Space Godzilla, and like bring him into the verse. And of course, Space Godzilla is supposed to be one of the most intelligent or the most evil of Godzilla's villains. Like Ghidorah's a kind of trickster, joker kind of cat, but Space Godzilla is actually like cynical, sort of kind of an attitude
Sinister?
about it. Yeah, sinister.
Monsters.
He's got attitude, and he wants to be the best.
Yeah. So honestly, that's how I would introduce Space Godzilla, and honestly, that would be really cool to see Space Godzilla in like modern Space Godzilla,
Yeah.
because Space Godzilla's got a lot of powers, not just not just physical powers. Actually, funny thing, Space Godzilla lacks physical powers because he's bulkier than original Godzilla, so he relies more on like energy beams and crystals. He's got telekinesis. He's got like, it's one of those things where it's like again, keep the powers, just change a little bit of the origin so it's not ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
Now-
believable origin.
You said something about like Biollante not being liked very much.
Biollante?
Like his movie wasn't great or something.
Her Biolante's
I've
a
never
she.
actually
I
seen
know.
the Biollante movie.
Biolante's a very rare it's not a very commonly seen Godzilla movie. But yeah, Biolante's a she, and she is the origin is that Godzilla cells mixed with a plant and the scientist's daughter.
What?
Yeah.
That's the origin?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's Biolante's origin. And when Biollante was destroyed, went to space, and her cells went to space.
So Godzilla's fighting the scientist's daughter, possibly.
Yeah, that's actually kind of the thing. Is like, and that's the monster story. The human story is even weirder in that movie. But Biollante honestly could work as a radioactive, monster.
They did talk about like the plant growth.
The
and
plant
stuff.
grows from the radiation. Honestly, I could love to see maybe something like a scientist, again, another scientist that does something with Godzilla's cells, and
That's what creates Biollante.
that's what creates Biollante. Biollante could work, and honestly, I'd like to see Biollante be more like, it's not just where Biollante is; they actually have powers almost around the planet.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Like they control almost a whole country just from their place, and Godzilla has to fight his way to get to them.
We can even add in more monsters and so on.
Yeah, other monsters fighting. So, personally, I would like to see. I just would like to see every monster get their place in this verse. It's like Marvel.
Yeah, it's like
you want to
Marvel.
see your heroes get brought in and to see how they're done well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I feel like like we build up, we do this whole MonsterVerse thing. We build up the movies, and because the Heisei era, the second era that had all the monsters like in a continuity, started with 85, went to Biollante, then Ghidorah, then Mothra, then Space Godzilla, then Destroyer. So all those movies are in the same verse.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, no, did I say Mechagodzilla? Yeah. So those would be good movies. But no, those all those kind of movies do really good at telling their story in a continuous way, even though they do kind of feel somewhat a bit they do have their own silliness again. Like, it's a Godzilla movie. They have
Godzilla's silly at times, and you just have to like accept that.
well, it's not that it's just silly. It's
It's a fun silly.
he's a character.
Yeah,
So
he's-
he's not just a like Shin Godzilla did the better version of actually having him be the
The monster.
The monster. Shin Godzilla
The
did-
destroyer.
yeah, the destroyer, the monster.
The harbinger of
The-
nuclear war.
Even then it's sympathetic because he's just an animal.
Yeah.
That one. He's an animal who's been cursed, or cursed basically with this power that he has no real control over, and can't think about
Anything beyond
just surviving or whatever. Like, Shin Godzilla is a very interesting concept on the Godzilla.
especially on the old Godzilla.
Yeah,
Like the first Godzilla.
and what's like in that movie, Godzilla is made from the waste of humanity, like pollution and such, along with something a scientist made. And all of that created Shin. So, which is actually kind of a reference to what happened in Japan, or happened recently, was an earthquake, and like how the government wasn't handling the earthquake well. So that's kind of where Shin Godzilla's, like how the government isn't handling Godzilla well.
Mhm.
That's kind of where what a lot of happened in that movie. The plot and the story worked.
Yeah.
So, but what I want to see, hopefully, is like how Thanos is, was like the big build-up bad of Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Destroyer is the big bad of Godzillaverse. So like what happens is like Destroyer is our last Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Burning Godzilla, Godzilla Meltdown, all that kind of the same plot as Godzilla vs. Destroyer, except we actually have Destroyer fight other monsters and kill them.
Yeah, I feel like that. I want to see stuff like that. I want to see like a monster come in, and to make them actually effective, show them fight monsters that have had their time.
And another monster I think would be really great to see is Hedorah.
Which one is that one?
The smog monster.
Oh,
And it would actually work, because even though we are much better with our pollution now than we used to be way back then, it would still work because Hedorah is actually also an alien too. But
do you think it'd be cool if like in their attempts to make deterrence for Godzilla and whatnot, that could come about to create the creature from the pollution of that? Essentially.
well, I think it would actually work is that Hedorah could be an alien, but like basically Hedorah could be like Shin. It's a creature that adapts to what it's surrounded by, and the humans' pollution, because of so much, or maybe it feeds off the pollution, and since there's so much of it on this planet, it just thrives, and only Godzilla is able to defeat it. So yeah, one. And again, the thing. I feel like the only problem is I feel like people would say that's very political, but Godzilla, like the movies have also always been a little bit political. Like Godzilla is an embodiment of nuclear power that, you know, if not treated properly, will destroy us.
I was really trying hard not to lose this destroyer in this match.
I said destroy us.
I know.
Destroyer!
I'm excited to see what they will do in the future movies.
This is one of those things, like, so far...
Less dark fights, please. That's the only complaint I've ever had with the fights, is that they've been doing too many dark fights. I love, like in the first one when Godzilla's fire breath came into play.
Yeah, that one.
It made it look so nice. But now, even though Ghidorah has the storms, and I thought that was cool. Like,
yeah, Ghidorah's
affecting
powers.
the weather. I thought that was pretty cool. But when the storms were affecting the lighting so much that I was like, what am I looking at?
This was so much better than the first one.
So much better.
I could see what was happening, even though it was a little hard to see. Even though it was, you know, it was all mixed
dark.
together. It was still visible. There was, like, you know, you had the light, the fire, the lightning flashes. It all worked.
It especially worked with the meltdown. That's the one thing I will say that it did well. It made the part awesome.
That is one of those weird things where it's like the meltdown and the oxygen destroyer got used, but they were kind of like, they weren't like used like how they were supposed to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Like burning Godzilla is supposed to be Godzilla dying, and the oxygen destroyer is supposed to be Godzilla's killer. So I don't know. Those are the only.
I mean, it did almost kill him.
It did, but it's like it should have killed him. Is the thing. Now, but yeah, I really hope because there hasn't been talk about what's going to happen after Kong, so I don't know if there's going to be more Godzilla movies. At least Toho, the Godzilla creators, their contract ends with Legendary, so we don't know if their contract's going to continue with the Legendary verse, because Toho is probably going to start making their Godzilla movies again after this. So they're trying to, like, you know, not mix up the Legendary verse and this verse, their new monster verse of their own. Whether that continues Shin, whether that's just a brand new Godzilla movie,
we'll see.
We'll see. But again, I'm looking forward to whatever Toho brings. I'm looking forward to whatever Legendary brings. I'm just looking forward to Godzilla again, because Godzilla's one of my childhoods, my favorite thing.
This is one of the earliest games I remember playing on, I remember playing mini games before this, but this is one of our long-standing nostalgic game.
This is our
that I will remember forever.
Yeah,
Godzilla is one of those series, and I am so excited that it's back. But I hope it
worried again. It's like, imagine, it's like, you know, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. They were all small movies, but they built up to this amazing end game, and I want Godzilla to do that, because Godzilla has done it just as well. Even though we kind of gotten our Avengers with King of the Monsters, they're doing really good with continuing the story, building up to something that they're planning to do. Like, because I have no idea what their plans are in the future.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited for. So yeah, that's our talk about Godzilla and our, you know, all that. So
I hope you enjoyed.
That's all we have to say about the movies and Godzilla and all. It was our childhood, and we're glad to see it return. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this black and white show. Hopefully I will get a device that will make Wii games and GameCube games in color for any future recordings. But yeah, take care, and we'll see you there in the next one.
Bye.